Hello everyone, I'm Alex and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be looking at more Colleen Ballinger stuff. Ballinger? I don't know. You guys were saying I didn't know how to pronounce it, and you're right. I don't watch Miranda Sings. I'm human. I'd never sink to that level. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, by the way. Have to mention this, by the way, because YouTube keeps on unsubscribing people, by the way. So if you are subscribed, you might have been unsubscribed, so make sure you're not. And if you aren't subscribed, subscribe. It's annoying for me too, I hate it. I've seen a bunch of TikToks pop up about this situation that filled me in ways that I didn't even know that I wanted to be filled in on. I didn't want to be filled in. Don't fill me. Let's begin.
All it takes is a little breeze and I'll see all the bits. So this is a very good example of what you don't want to dress like. So this is porn. What's your name? Grace. Exactly. So, first type of porn is clothing, okay? This is example. Not porn, porn. Not porn, porn. There are two ways to get rid of porn clothing. One, you can dress like Sarah or me here and look appropriate. The other one is I have created a device that will help my Murfandas. It's called the anti-porn unicorn, okay? So I have these unicorn horns that I'm going to wear. And now I am the anti-porn unicorn, okay? So whenever you are seeing anything that is being porn, you can just be like, stop it! Hit them right in the porn areas.
People pay to watch this, and they laugh at it when they get there, after traveling, maybe hours, and spending money on hotels. What's going on? What's happening here? Now, this is one of the clips that is the least offensive. There's some really strange ones, if you go looking, of Miranda Sings, like, pulling up, like, 14, 15-year-olds on stage and just, like, sexualizing them in front of a crowd of people. Apparently, one person was pulled up on stage, and Miranda Sings basically did something weird to them sexually that I don't really want to go into. And, they got bullied for it heavily in school. And understandably so. Although you're more likely to be bullied for going to a Miranda Sings show. That's probably inappropriate, but it's true. How can you be surprised that this person has turned out to be a strange weirdo? It's like Shane Dawson all over again. When people were like, oh my god, Shane Dawson, his content would never have told us that he was a freak. We thought the documentaries were relatively interesting and you know, I cared more about what was going on in Jake Paul's life. I didn't think Shane Dawson was the important part of that cocktail. I didn't think I was going to Shane Dawson and being like, that's a bastion of sanity. And it's the same with Miranda Sings. But it is weird, because somebody pointed out the other day that she's like 34, has children. Could you imagine if somebody did this to her kids? I'm sure she'd flip out. I'm sure she'd be less than pleased. And that in itself should really say everything about somebody. If they would critique that and go mental about it, or be like, lock them up and throw them away, and they're doing it, that's all you need to know.
Never have I ever pooped my pants.
I have.
You have? When?
You have too.
Of course, every day.
Yeah, obviously.
Listen, there's definitely a streak in my panties right now.
Number one, right, not only is the Miranda Sings character basically just like mocking people who are on a spectrum, let's be honest, that is what it is. I'm pretty convinced it is just her taking the mick out of stranger people. And she's made a lot of money doing it. Like, people originally, right, saw the Miranda Sings character and thought it was real, right? It was like TikTok now. You know how you've got your alphabas? It's like that. That's what the character was meant to be. It was like, oh, this person's so crazy and wacky. And it gained a lot of attention because people thought it was weird and would bully it and share it around to their friends. You go, look at this strange person who thinks they could sing. Nobody kind of realised it was a character. It was kind of like Fred back in the day. God, we're digging into the archives here. People would make people famous on YouTube purely because they bullied them. It is like TikTok now. There wasn't really like content creation going on. It was more just like, look at these strange people who are filming themselves and posting online. And she took like crazy advantage of that. But I've always found YouTubers strange who make videos with people who are like 15 years younger than them. Like in any capacity. Why? What are you doing? Why is Jojo Siwa around your house? Where are her parents? I don't know, man. I just never thought this behaviour was normal. Like, I see YouTubers now who are like, I don't know, 25, hanging around with like 14-year-old Minecraft kids. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Why are you doing that actively? Do you not have friends? I know you make a lot of money, but do you not have friends your age who you can make videos with? I don't know. It's not normal. You cannot convince me ever that it's normal. I'm not on that train. But it's YouTube. It's always kind of been the way. It's like if they're clouted, collab with them. Who cares if they're an embryo?
I love you too. I've never had anyone so enthusiastic. Come on. Oh, I'm still wearing my horse. How embarrassing. Just let me slip this on.
I have loved this woman forever. I did everything I could to get to this show.
She did this like on stage in front of people, and it's really fascinating that it took like a bunch of videos like from one person, like basically a campaign. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, for people to realize that this was weird. I never watched Miranda Sings. I always thought it was like a tacky act that anybody could do. Like anybody could have done the Miranda Sings thing, and it very much was a product of its time. I didn't realise she was on tour when all of this was going on, like doing live shows as the character, because that's mental to me. I remember I was offered a tour. I was one of the YouTubers who was offered a tour. And I remember saying, in theory, it would be a lot of fun. You know, meet and greets could like do something that maybe potentially be funny, but I'd want to write something that was actually interesting, something that actually appealed to me. And back then, I was a lot more interested in working on stuff that was more kind of like comedy based, and I loved writing, and I was writing shows anyway. None of them ever came to be, because I kind of realised at a certain point that the amount of time and effort it would take to do it would be absolutely insane, and to make it good would be something that wouldn't be possible if I wanted it to make money. And then I decided that maybe it probably wouldn't be a good idea at all, because I don't want to do something just for the sake of doing it, just for the sake of trying to cash in on this like new avenue of content. And I went, I don't think we'll do this in the end. I don't think this is going to work. Like, I don't want to just do something for the sake of doing something. Whereas Miranda Sings is squeezing every penny she can out of that bag. Squeezing it a bit too hard, based on these videos.
Public. The biggest issue that came from his video is that I sent a child underwear. And wow, anyone who heard this out of context and was offended...
Do you need context? If anyone heard that I sent a child underwear, but you need the context. Okay, show the context that you edited, but we'll get to that.
I completely understand, because I would be too. But in this situation, context is everything, so...
About sending a child underwear.
Well, I would like to give you some context to this situation. 4 years ago, I did a live stream, and in this live stream, I did a giveaway. I was giving away clothes that were unused, tag still on, brand new, that I had just bought that I did not want. One of the items that was in this box was a really ugly pair of underwear. As soon as we pulled them out, Corey and I started laughing and joking around about how ugly they were. Why did I buy these ridiculous underwear? It was so stupid.
I just got big old box from Forever 21 and I want to open it up in front of you guys. Maybe I'll send the ones I don't want to you guys. I got a bunch of crop tops. The panties for you.
And people started asking for them in the live stream.
Yeah, people started asking for them in the live stream. But why would you give them away? You're a multi-millionaire. There is no reason for you to be going through the effort it would take to send your underwear to fans of yours on the internet. I don't care if you hadn't worn them. It's just a strange thing to do with your time. Like, you could be working or making... just doing anything that's not that. I don't have to really give an excuse, do I? You guys aren't stupid, and neither am I. I don't have to sit here and go, oh, you could have been doing these things. There's no excuse. Honestly, there is no excuse. Like, I don't think there's a normal situation where, like, sending, like, fan stuff like that is ordinary. Like, I've seen YouTubers do some crazy stuff over the past few years, and I just look at it and I go, why? Like, there have been YouTubers who've sent people pictures of them as babies. Like, they monetized it and sold it. And it's like, there's a reason why people don't do it, because they'd end up on the sex offenders registry, which is a pretty good reason to not do something, in my opinion.
Tonight at the show, something really funny happened. There is a part in the show where I bring up different boys that, like, Miranda flirts with, basically, on stage. And there's this part where, like, I try to get a guy to put, like, his hand down my pants. I know it sounds really bad, but it's totally harmless. And
Want a cheese ball? Come on, Brady. Oh, I went for it!
today I chose a boy who was pretty young, and he did something I've never experienced before on stage, and it made me laugh so hard on stage. It was probably the biggest break I've had on stage, like, ever, because it just caught me so off guard because it's never happened before. But usually the people I pull on stage are really enthusiastic and excited to be a part of the show, and he just was like not having it. I tried to get him to get like a cheese ball like from my pants, and he was like, no, not gonna happen. And he was really serious, and I was like, okay, whatever, like that's not a big deal. So then I tried to get him to kiss me on my cheek, and he was like, no. And he was like really serious and like would not do it. So then I said, well, this has never happened to me before. And he goes, well, now it has. So then I just like was like, oh my God, like he just shocked me, and the audience is dying of laughter. I'm dying of laughter, and he is just serious. Like, here's a picture of me laughing, and he is totally serious, like not having it. And so then he goes, I came here to be your friend, not your bae.
I just kind of let that whole video play out because I thought the ukulele video had a lack of self-awareness, but to vlog this and edit it, and let's face it, she's probably not editing it, she's probably got an editor. I do, most YouTubers do. It's highly unlikely that she went through this herself, which means somebody else saw this and then didn't go, oh, what the fuck. That whole thing that I've just seen is crazy, because that stage show is manned by loads of people, and I know that because I sat down with a budget of how much my show was going to cost, and I saw the amount of people and the amount of crew we needed, and it was a lot of people. Like, shit isn't cheap, there's a lot of people working on that, and a team of writers. You know, maybe even Colleen herself didn't even write that bit. Like, somebody might have written that for her. I remember when I did mine, people were trying to, like, write stuff for me. They wanted to write my entire show, and that was another reason why I didn't want to do it. I was like, I want to do this. Like, either I'm doing it myself because I want to do it, because there's no way I'm going on stage and performing material that somebody else has written for me. I'm not interested in doing that at all. But that is absolutely mental that many people could go see that show, sit in a room, and nobody thought to do something about that. Just because it's on stage doesn't make it normal. These people just hide in plain sight. It's insane to me. Like, they just do all of this stuff and nobody notices, including, like, myself. Like, I can't believe I have not seen any of this before. I can't believe this person has, like, nearly 10 million subscribers, and the first time I'm hearing about all of this stuff that happened years ago is in 2023. It actually blows me away. Like, this is so wrong. It's crazy how wrong this whole situation is, and how basically the entire channel has been built on content like this. It very much is like Shane Dawson, but actually worse. Like, Shane Dawson had hellfire rained down on him for making jokes. She's, like, pulling people up on stage and getting them to, like, try and, like, put their hand down her trousers. Shane Dawson, as far as I'm aware, and you can educate me in the comments if you want, he made jokes, but I don't ever remember him, like, actually fucking doing anything like that, unless it was to a feline-based creature. The fact that she says it's totally harmless, does she actually believe that? Like, if somebody did that to her kid, would she feel the same way? I don't think so at all.
I used to, like, actually, like, rip things up or get angry. So I grabbed my dog for no reason, just grabbed the dog and pinched its skin and dug my nails into it. The dog yelps, turns around to protect itself, and bites me in the face. And I got stitches, I went to the hospital, and they were like, what happened? And I was like, the dog just bit me. And then they had to put the dog to sleep because the dog was dangerous to be around. So I murdered a dog.
What is it with YouTubers owning a camera and then feeling like they have to share everything and not having the self-awareness to realize that these stories are just insane, make them look like crazy people? The lack of awareness this woman has is genuinely something that I've never seen before. She admitted to lying, like attacking an animal, a defenseless animal, for no reason, getting it put down, and then she tells the story with a big smile on her face. And once again, the bloke next to her doesn't do anything about it. If I was doing a YouTube video with one of my mates, and they said something like that, I'd stop the recording, and you'd never see them again. Like if I had a mate, it was like this, they wouldn't be my mate anymore. I'd just be like, you're a fucking freak. And I cut them. But, like, that's just the thing about all of these YouTubers, man. A lot of them just, for some reason, have this, like, in it together kind of mentality. And I personally believe it's because they're all fucking weird. I can't wait for the day that I can retire. And I am out of this YouTube scene. I don't even want to go to stuff like VidCon or anything anymore. Because, like, you know, people like this are there. And there's loads of them. Like, Colleen is not a standalone freak. She's one of many. Like, look at the amount of people who have just kind of sat next to her, like, done videos with her, whilst all of this stuff was going on. Like, this is her brand. Or did nobody ever watch any of her videos? Did they just kind of like see the numbers and just work with her? That seems more believable. It's crazy, man. YouTube's wild. Like, this was all public to see. This wasn't hidden. This wasn't like private. This isn't like leaked personal conversations, a lot of this stuff, as much as there is leaked personal conversations. This is just stuff that she posted willingly. She did this in collab videos. Wild. Well, that's a more in-detailed look at what Colleen has actually done. It's crazy. If you guys enjoy these type of videos where I look at like the latest kind of YouTube controversy thing, then I will keep on doing them. Just leave a like, and yeah, I'll keep on looking at stuff like this. But God, isn't it sickening? Bye. Weirdo.